If I could, I led my colleagues may recall, I led a congressional delegation down to Honduras, Guatemala, and Salvador back at the very beginning of this year. And we were looking at numbers through really beginning of November in terms of illegal immigration. The numbers were pretty flat. And as you look at that chart back there, pretty flat up until the beginning of November. It sort of exploded. And among the things that we focus a lot, and it's important that we do focus on the symptoms of the problems at the border, what we see at the border. But it's also critically important, as my colleagues know, that we try to figure out what's going on down in Honduras, Guatemala, and Salvador, that's sending all these people up here. So it turns out Salvador, the surge has been a lot less dramatic. And one of the reasons why is they had an election there. They elected a new president. His name is Bukele. He's like 37 years old, former mayor of San Salvador. And people have hope. People have hope that there's going to be a better day. Meanwhile, in Honduras last year, Juan Hernandez, the president of the country, got the Supreme Court to declare that their constitution was unconstitutional and he could run again. And he won a razor-thin re-election. It just really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I mean, really made people angry. They're still angry. And over in Guatemala, Jimmy Morales, who's the president, somebody I had very high hopes for 4 years ago when he was elected, it's turned out to be a bitter disappointment and tried to chase CICIG out of the country, the UN entity that's there to try to go after the corruption and so forth. And when they had their presidential election, the best person that could have been on the ballot was not even allowed to come into the country and campaign. Del Maldana, the former attorney general, was like death on corruption when she was attorney general. And so people are just really like fed up. Plus, you've got the situation with climate problems and like the arid situation. People can't grow coffee and up in the highlands, and there's a real surge of people there. There's a lot going on there. So it's important we focus on the stuff that we're talking about here today, but also be mindful of some of the things that I just mentioned. There's one of my favorite songs. I love music. One of my favorite songs is a song called "Hope in a Hopeless World." And this is this is not an easy problem to solve, but there's hope. And the work of the four of you and your presence here and our chairman and our ranking member hosting this roundtable today gives me hope in what for many people is an all too hopeless world.
Thank you, Senator. I would add...
I won't sing.
I'm sorry?
I won't sing today. Just the lyrics.
That would probably keep people here. But Senator, we are looking at those push factors and traveling to the Northern Triangle, to Guatemala and Honduras as a panel. That's coming up next month. In the meantime, now we are receiving a number of briefings from the State Department, NGOs, and others regarding the very matters that you just talked about with regard to corruption, extortion, and other issues in the Northern Triangle that's affecting these flows. So our report was an emergency report focusing on the pull factors and trying to stem the flow quickly on the family unit side. We are yet to address the push factors, which will be in our final report in September.
We as a body, the Congress, House, and Senate, in a bipartisan way, have been supporting, focusing on the three major causes for people that want to get out of those countries. One, lack of economic hope and opportunity. Number two, crime and violence. Number three, corruption that's just endemic. Absolutely. And what we're doing with the Alliance for Prosperity, which we get about, for every dollar we invest, we get $5 or $6 or $7 from other sources invested to address those three major push factors.